Hi, I'm Jenny Townsend with the Stroke It podcast. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about, once again, my 4 ground rules for you to consider if you are questioning whether to end or mend a marriage. The ground rule that I'm going to be talking about today is going to be avoid. What does that mean? Avoid everything. No. It's going to be more about avoiding negative thoughts, people, advice, stories, and details. And I really want to take that time to break that down for you today. First and foremost, we've got to avoid negative chatter. I can't think of anything that is worse for your mental health and your recovery than avoiding negative self chatter. And I think it starts as soon as you wake up in the morning. It could be as, oh, I got to do this, like how you phrase what is on your to do list. So changing that got to with I get to can help you with your self chatter. And always having words of affirmation in the morning is a great way to kick off the day. You can use those resources such as Google, they can tell you those. There are apps on your phone. I've even used YouTube guided words of affirmation to basically highlight all of the great things that I have to offer. So that's going to be first and foremost. Avoid negative people. So many people can be draining, they can be taking all of our energy and sucking the life out of us. So avoid negative people. If they are not adding or any value or enhancing your life in any capacity, 86 them immediately. And that may mean your best friend, your spouse for a short period of time, or a friend, or even a coworker. So eliminate the negative people from your life. And a lot of people cannot understand the journey you're on or what you're going through. So avoid talking to them about anything that is super, super private or important to you, especially if you're dealing with a marital affair. A lot of times people that were not in my situation really could not understand what I was going through. And I think it's really, really important to surround yourself with people that are positive and that can understand where you're coming from or that have been in your shoes. So avoid that. When it comes to avoiding social media feeds, unsubscribe, unfollow anything or anybody that gives you anxiety, makes you feel bad, or gives negative thoughts. When I was going through my journey, I started following positive thoughts, positive quotes, and things that were going to be adding value to my life and making me smile or think in a positive way. Think about all that time that you're scrolling. So fill your feed, if you feel like you need to be on social media, with positivity. Eliminate anything that is a negative trigger. I would also say when you're going through an experience of your marriage where it is suffering or going through a challenge, I would also say to avoid getting angry. Once that anger sets in, it's really, really hard to overcome. And it's really hard to find balance, love, passion, forgiveness. And what's going to happen is you're going to get so angry inside, and you're just going to possibly push that down to where you're going to get sick. And our body works in mysterious ways. You could end up with a cold that lasts or lingers for 2 or 3 months. Depending on the type of stress that you're under, you could end up with shingles or some other kind of disease, autoimmune disease. And so I would really, really encourage you to avoid any anger while you're on this journey. That way you can come back from it. I'm telling you, you can come back from this negative space and experience that you're going through right now. I would also encourage you, if you're dealing with a marital affair, to avoid knowing the details. This was a hard one for me. When I was going through my own journey through this, I wanted to know the details, when, where, all of it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really, really matter. Something happened. You were betrayed. You were cheated on, whatever it may be. Avoid knowing the details. Once that mental image is there, you can never get it away. Once you know all the places, those will be triggers if you ever go there. So once again, don't worry about the details. Know that that's what you think you need to know and want to know. But in the end, if you do plan on making this work with your current spouse, you're going to be better off. I'm also going to encourage you to avoid rushing decisions. So many of us are at wit's end. We've been through it. We've been talking about it. We've been, planning our departure for a very long time. And sometimes we forget to slow down, acknowledge what's happening, and take into consideration what life is going to be once you leave. So I know you may want to rush to this decision. To give you an example, when I discovered what was happening in my marriage, it was in February. I basically cleaned out our whole house, and our house was listed for sale a few months later. 1 year later, we made it work. And guess what? We don't have our home. We live in an apartment. And with COVID and with all of the other variables that are going on in our world right now, it's really hard for us to find a home that we want. If we wouldn't have sold our home, we would have that place today. So I want to encourage you to just slow down, especially if you are going to be out on your own, if there's children involved, if you're going to be taking on a new venture, whatever it is, slow down. You do not have to rush a decision. Not to mention, how long have you been living in this marriage? 3, 5, 7 years. So please avoid rushing any decisions because you may be able to work it out once you get through the process. And once again, just avoid negative situations, people, and thoughts, and you will be able to overcome all of the challenges or obstacles, fear, pain, and loss that you're maybe going through right now. And you will be able to find forgiveness and move forward. It's not for everybody, but even if you want to forgive and leave your current situation, you can do so. But at least you're going to be 100%, you're going to have clarity, you're going to feel good. Process when it comes to avoiding, which is one of my 4 ground rules for determining whether you want to end or mend a marriage. I hope you have a great day.